like edged me just the right. Okay, I'm sorry. This analogy is going too long. I'm sorry.
Well, everybody, we want you to hit like and subscribe at the bottom of the page.
Oh shit! It looks like we on. What the fuck is up, y'all? Welcome back to the On Repeat podcast.
Podcast.
It's your boy Media, right?
And Dark Ruffalo?
Y'all know why they call him Dark Ruffalo, right?
No, why?
Because it's a dark and cold world, and sometimes you just got to eat a bag of chips. You know what I'm saying? We also got our boy Xani Devito.
Fuego as a hot damn Cheeto. What's going on, everybody? Hey, while we're at it, y'all should hit that subscribe button below the video for the Wave Gang channel. Check out that new video, Brown Bitch, we just put out.
Woo!
Almost 25,000 views. Let's keep those views going up, baby.
Wait, we also got to like discuss how like this motherfucker was at like 26 at some point.
Dude.
I saw it touch 28 and then it keeps dropping down.
Yeah.
I hate YouTube.
YouTube hating on the kids low key, huh?
I know, right?
They took away some of our likes, too. We were up at like 175, and then now we're at 159. It's like,
Wow.
why?
People hating, bro.
Why?
But the crazy thing is like we followed that up with the Final Fantasy VII podcast. And that one did more numbers than we've ever done on this podcast.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's the longest one.
Yeah.
That's the longest one so far.
What's happening?
I don't know, man.
Guys, is it happening? Do you guys feel that? Is it happening?
It's all coming to us right now, man.
Is the
It's
star-
all...
Look at how the stars align. Shout out Rex Life Raj. But what are we here today for? What are we here? What are we here?
We're here today to talk about our top 10 2020 releases so far of this year.
Is it already the mid-year?
It is the mid-year.
God damn.
What a crazy year.
Halfway through.
It both feels like it happened hella fast because I still remember doing the year-end podcast.
Yeah.
I heard. Did you hear the Henny pop? It both
Cheers.
happened. It both
It's
feels
in the
like it happened.
waves. Sorry.
Also, can we talk about how Xani Devito looks like he's on a Guy Fieri shirt? Right?
I like the background again. I like the background. Very wavy.
This is going to be a running theme for me. Have a different background each time.
Does that reflect how you're feeling?
Wavy, of course.
Yeah.
Wavy, but on a sensu bean.
Yes.
It's like
It just sways.
it's like presented. It's like Xani DeVito presented by Ed Hardy. But like I was saying, like it feels like we got to the mid-year both hella fast because I feel like we just did the end of year and the decade podcast, but it also feels like it happened hella slow because ain't shit happened.
Exactly.
We've been inside.
I know it's such a weird year because, like you were saying, it's like time compressed or something.
Oh, that's a Final Fantasy VIII reference.
Yeah, but because like it felt like it was such a good start to the year, and that's when everyone thought 2020 was gonna be the best year ever, and in some ways, towards our channel, it is.
Yo, I didn't want to say this because I'm very aware that I'm in this fucking weird bubble that are almost unaffected by this whole shit, other than like my uncle getting clapped by it. But goddamn, I don't know, bro. I feel like 2020 has been personally, selfishly, I've been fucking killing it this year.
I ain't doing too bad either. I ain't gonna lie. 2020
It's almost like
a year, even though I'm stuck inside.
I feel like I've been preparing for this year my whole life. You know what I mean? Like it was like
all those days we decided to stay in and watch wrestling instead of go out and socialize. We were preparing ourselves for this right here.
We inside head ass motherfuckers we was built for this year.
Now people gotta come out of here with a personality and shit.
But like now things have gone to shit, and it still kind of feels like the end of days, right? But it's also like, businesses still kind of move, especially the music industry, because especially now in our time, people can release from home.
Facts.
People can make things as good as a studio quality release, or like play concerts through Zoom or Club Penguin, even
Shout out
Fortnite.
soccer mommy.
Yeah. So it's an interesting year because I think, like, I guess what I'm seeing at least, a lot of these big businesses that runs our economy and even the small ones can't really, it's hard for them to adapt, right? While the music industry always adapts, it seems like.
Right.
Yeah.
Big facts.
I don't know. What do you guys think about it? Coming into 2020, what were you guys expecting out of the music climate, I guess, what you're going to be hearing this year?
For me, I expected a lot more going into the year just because, who could ever predict a quarantine from happening?
Yeah.
But like after that, I was surprised that any music was really coming out. Like when Drake's music video came out where he's just in his house walking around and shit, that song actually clapped. I don't even like Drake that much, but that shit was fine.
And he's just teaching you how to dance. Like his
yeah.
dance move,
Well, actually, it feels more like he's teaching you how to conceive more than right foot left foot slide.
What kind of weird sex are you having?
Missionary, bro. It's missionary.
Oh, bro.
That's why his legs free,
Wait, because that's why his legs is free. James is on bottom.
My legs are up above my head.
Oh my god.
Oh, shit.
What about you, though, Medium Frank? What were you expecting?
Yeah, I was expecting a lot because when it just the optics of like it being a new decade, 2020, like you would expect that, like, yo, like people are like, hey, Drake might have ruled the 2010s, but I'm gonna rule the 20s. You know what I mean? And also, I just felt like people were gearing up. I think people were like longing for a really strong summer because I feel like, I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me personally, but I feel like 2019 for the most part was like a bummer publicly. Or everything since 2016 really has been like kind of a bummer, and everybody was like,
it's always been about Trump too the whole time.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like people were like optimistic about 2020 because it's also like it's an election year, all this shit. You know what I mean? It's a new decade, all this stuff. So it's like I feel like 2020, everybody wanted it to be so much better or positive and lit as possible. And then no one saw this shit coming. You know what I mean? But like I really did expect a lot because of just in general, I felt like the climate, everyone was like asking for 2020 to be like lit, the
turning point for the most part.
Yeah, it's weird. And also musically, I thought 2019 was such a great year for music. And it was like so great because it was like a ton of different genres were like thriving. You know what I mean? And I feel like all kinds of like genres that were previously like status quo were starting to get pushed. Like even like commercial pop music, that like the artistic line had been pushed by a lot of the people in the forefront. And hip hop, all of that's getting kind of like pushed to like a new creative level that like, I don't know, it just felt like it was gearing up to be something big. And I think music has also kind of followed suit with how depressing this year has been for society in general. But I also think within that, like there's specific genres that are thriving because we're inside, and I'm sure we'll see. It definitely reflects in my list. Interesting to see how it kind of turns out for you too. But I don't know. I think all in all, as much as we expected it to be lit and shit's fucking kind of like as a whole depressing right now, I think it'll be a cool like time capsule historical event for us to look back on and be like, yo, all this fucked up shit was happening. Here's what was happening to the economy. Here's what's happening in politics. Here's how this pandemic is actually like becoming the biggest political war that we've seen in a long time. And then here's how pop culture followed suit. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. Did that make sense? I'm fucking high.
No, that makes sense.
Did that make sense?
I'm high too.
Fucking high. Aren't we
That's
all?
why you made sense.
What about you, bro?
I mean, I guess like I agree completely with what you've said. Like 2019 had some high highs, and I feel like it was like with Tyler the Creator,
Yeah.
and like a lot of
Billy.
Yeah. So like, and like you were saying, it's like the status quo, the commercial music has so much influences from, like music you won't expect. A lot of what people in the mainstream usually don't listen to. A lot more like rawness, I guess.
Yeah.
Noise. So I was just wanting to see where this is gonna go, and of course, like a lot of it's like you could see it's mostly hip hop, like hip hop influence at least. Even Billie Eilish is like hip hop influence. Then coming into this year, I feel like I don't know. I was listening to a lot more hip hop last year, but this year I feel like there is kind of a change. And I guess because I'm seeing where like, hip hop is bleeding into other areas, or like it's all feels interconnected now. But there's like certain artists that kind of like, even though they came out with great music this year, I was still I expected more than what I got.
Mm-hmm.
But the smaller artist seems to have won me over more this time around.
I think you're actually seeing what's actually happening, though. A lot of bigger artists aren't dropping, either not dropping and delaying, or they're putting out other like smaller shit first. Like, for example, Drake, right? Like the Dark Lane demo tapes, those he was definitely gearing up to put an album out this year, but he understands that if you can't tour it and you can't hear these songs in clubs, it's not going to sell the same way. So he threw us an EP to like tide us over, and I guarantee you every single song on those EPs were cut from the actual album. You know what I mean? Like, I think we're seeing that, and like a lot of the bigger artists that will have probably dropped, not dropping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think you're seeing that. I think you're seeing that, like, bigger acts are choosing to wait out the coronavirus thing, and the smaller acts are thriving because they're, like, more people are, like, and think about it, too, when it comes to, I mean, I know for the most part, corporations are making more money right now because they have the means, like Amazon and everything, to, like, do deliveries and stuff like that. But I think for the most part, consumers are trying to actively consume from like smaller businesses. I know I am, and when it comes, and similarly for music too, I'm definitely more than ever. Like when Bandcamp did those few days where it's like all of the proceeds go to the artists on these days, I went on a shopping spree those days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think we're also at like, even though we talk about how we feel like we're in a bubble.
Yeah.
Our bubble is something that could burst,
Oh yeah.
While other people's bubble, they're not in a bubble; they're on clouds.
Yeah.
Almost.
Ooh, hold up! That was a fucking bar. Man, you really a rapper now, dog.
He just speaks lyrically.
Yeah, take my mind off, the side off.
But,
the guys get ahead.
They all in their bubble, but really in a cloud.
But I guess what I was saying, like, for the first time in history, I think a lot more people are not really wanting to hear or care about how much people are making right now. It kind of pisses them off too.
Oh yeah,
like
that makes sense.
So I feel like the whole celebrity-ness of things is kind of like being questioned right now. Yeah. Because like for you and I, like we're living comfortably, but like at the same time, for some, at least for me, sometimes that makes me feel kind of guilty because I'm just like,
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, what a bummer. No. So, but at least we are still gonna talk about our top 10 because we still listen to music, especially now during quarantine. I'm sure you guys have had plenty of time. How did that affect your guys' like listening?
A lot. I mean, like, they're like, for example, spoiler alert, I loved DaBaby. And even though, like, I think critically, I still would have problems with the album he dropped this year because everything we said last year was like, bruh, change it up. You're going to Migos yourself. And I think he's Migosing himself. But I will probably like the album more if I could hear it when I have a party or when I'm at a bar or when I'm at a club. I'm not trying to hear fucking "Let's Go" when I'm in my room trying to fucking remodel. You know what I'm saying? I'm not
Let's fucking go.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't even fucking dap my homies. I don't want to hear "okay." Like, I'm not. So that definitely impacted some things, and you'll probably see in my list that it's definitely like the environment that I listen to music on. And there's one specifically on my list that the environment specifically impacted how I felt about it, both negatively and positively. So, you know, it really does come into play, and I'm interested to see what my list and what our lists will look like at the end of the year if things back up, which I doubt. Yeah, because again, like the environment's a big deal. Like I'm not trying to, like if Migos were to drop something right now, I'd be like, I can't listen to this right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I see that. That. Do you have anything to add to that, Xani? Did that affect your listening?
Really, the thing, I wouldn't say I've listened to more music because it's a big part of my day when I would go to work to throw in the headphones, stand at the bus stop, search for something new, and then listen to it on the bus right there. Now I'm waking up and I have to find a new routine of like trying to work out, take a shower while I'm working at the same time. And I could probably look through music just like I'm looking through Netflix, you know, but it feels, for me, it just seems easier, I guess, to flip through Netflix real quick, press A on the button, and then just go back to work and have that in the background because I don't really care. Whereas like music, I kind of care a little bit more about it, so I want to give it that time to listen to it. Some albums I'll listen to it 2 or 3 times before I actually decide if this is if I even like the album. Because like there'll be songs on it that I don't know. I can't come up with anything specifically that from this year, just basically because of that. Like I haven't had the same routine where music was there in the morning and at the end of the night.
I see. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's the same for me. Like when we first heard about the lockdown, I just started kind of. I didn't really listen to music much. I just kind of became lazy. I feel like, you know, all the routines I'd have, like go for a run, I stopped doing. And it's not until recently that I started picking that back up again. Right. Is when I'm listening to more music, like actually being like, I realized that I listen to music more, like I could pay attention to it more when I'm moving, you know?
Yeah.
Because I get what you mean, especially when I'm working. It's like music is much more distracting to me because like you were saying, yeah. But if like it's a podcast, like I could zone out from time to time and it doesn't bother me that I missed something, you know?
Definitely.
But yeah.
Yeah, I have easier time consuming music when I'm moving too, like whether I'm in like transit or I'm like on my run.
Yeah.
It's easier to like ignore what you're currently doing and listening to music. Yeah.
But
it really is, especially like, I don't know. I feel the same way. Like I got a little lazy. I definitely know I've put on some pounds during this quarantine and just recently trying to get back into the game. And like, that's the only time I listen to music is if I go on a walk or I go on a run or some shit.
Yeah.
So you haven't listened. So I will say that James does not have a list this year so far.
It's just because like,
was he out there walking?
What was
really
that?
Not.
So he said, "Yeah, I only listen to music when I'm on my runs, and it's I don't listen when I'm at home. So yeah, that's why he doesn't have a list right now."
But I was initially laughing though because there's like because of his background, it looks like something moved in the background, and then he looked.
It was probably Eric or Alexis.
I thought I saw Alexis.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. We got to do a quick shout out to Alexis for graduating college.
Oh.
Shout out Alexis.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me take this.
Yeah, we gotta do it. We gotta do it proper. We gotta shout out our sister Alexis. We gotta shout out our sister Alexis on the R Repeat podcast for graduating college. Congratulations!
Congratulations!
The air horns. Congratulations!
You don't even see her. She's just like the back.
And you see the God E. Fry photography in the back there, man. I miss y'all. I hope y'all live it.
The guy with the eye.
Oh, the guy with the eye!
Guy with the eye.
Damn.
But anyways, Yeah, I mean, now that we've talked about how music has been affected by 2020, let's just get down to our list. So, do you want to start your top 10?
Let's do it.
Right. So
All right. So, number 10 from Frankie Baby, Really Freaky with Your Ladies, mid-year list for 2020, aka the darkest timeline, because this is some sad shit. So this I don't know why. I mean, like, I put this at number 10 because so far I've listened to 22 albums this year, which is like half of what I listened to this time last year. I don't know. Like, I listened to so many albums last year that I didn't listen to anything new until maybe late February after we put out our album. So I did a lot of catch up recently. And a lot of them I didn't like, to be honest with you, that I listened to. This one is number 10 solely because I haven't had the chance to fully digest it yet, but I know it's better than a lot of the other ones I've listened to this year because it just came out on Thursday, and it's Dedicated Side B by Carly Rae Jepsen. You already know the game. Carly Rae has gotten into a cool cadence where she would drop an album one year, and then the following year, she'll drop the B-sides, which a lot of the times there's a handful of songs on the B-sides that are way better than some of the worst songs on the actual album. Yeah. So the anticipation for side B was kind of like funny this time because she's only done it once before, right? So it's not like it was like a full pattern that was established yet, but like a lot of us fans were like, drop a side B, drop a side B. And every time she does an interview about the actual album last year, she would say, my process is the same. I recorded over 200 songs and we whittled it down. And when that happens, obviously there's room for random singles. She sells songs to other artists. Like, she sold some songs to Charlie XCX for her album, to her 2 albums ago for that. And so we were all kind of like tongue-in-cheek asking for side B, and she gave it to us. You know what I mean? Yeah. But and just like the last side B, there's some songs on there that are like way better than some of the worst songs on the actual album. So it's a good listen. It's something that I enjoy to like actually consume. And the one thing that she did interesting on this side B is that she included songs that she was clearly workshopping for a song that actually made the album. You know what I mean? So like there's some songs on there that are in the same key, use the same kind of like production techniques and some lyrics as songs that actually made the album. So while those songs aren't super strong, it's at least interesting because it looks like we got like a behind the scenes type of situation for it. That was interesting. But again, is it something that's super repeatable that I could listen to all the time? Probably not. The first song on this album, I fucking hate. Right? This Love Is Crazy is really, really, really bad. And like that's something that like I will always kind of be honest about, is that there's songs that I fucking hate, but when it's Carly Rae Jepsen, I give the rest of the album a chance. But there's a few songs on here like Window where it's like I understand why this is a side B because it doesn't fit the sonics of the actual album, but it's still a really strong song, and it's something that you definitely listen to all the time. There's a song called fucking Solo on here that is like, it sounds like she wrote this song for Robin, you know, that pop singer. And if Robin were to put this song out, it'd probably be number 1 in like the Euro EDM charts. Okay. Things like that. And then after that, there's a song that my favorite song is This Is What They Say. It really sounds like it's straight out of Emotion, the actual like album Emotion. It's definitely more 80s influenced than 70s influenced, like Dedicated was. It's just really great. It sounds like fucking Wham wrote the song. It sounds like George Michael and that other guy Wham wrote the song. So yeah, it's really good. It's really strong. It's definitely like a easy listen. It came out on a day that I was having a really bad day at work, so it helped me bring my spirits up. And the cool thing this time is it's not an EP, it's a full album. There's 12 songs, so there's more to dig into. I'm sure by the end of the year, I'll have stronger opinions about it. Whether or not it's going to be in my top 10 at the end of the year, I honestly think this might be the first Carly Rae release since Emotion that won't make my top 10. Like this might be in like the mid-teens or maybe even 20. Because I don't think it's super strong all the way through, but the songs that work, they really work. So Yeah, that's my Carly Rae synopsis. I'm sorry to all of the Gypsies that hate that I'm not super in love with it. And I'm in pretty much like a Carly Rae Jepsen book club with Babe Life. Like anytime Carly Rae puts something out, me and everyone in Babe Life are like, oh, we're like breaking down songs to each other and shit. It's like fucking funny. But I think all of us are like, this is really good. We love Carly Rae. She doesn't disappoint and she always delivers a bit, but it's not, it's definitely not like the best project I've heard from her, but it was not supposed to. It's side B. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sweet. You know, whenever you talk about her and like what she releases, I always wish I could work like her.
Yeah.
You know, like who wouldn't want to have finished like so many songs in a year?
Yeah.
God.
And I have so much like separation anxiety that if I write 200 songs and I have to like cut it down to 15, I'll feel so hurt about the other 85 songs that don't make it. You know what I mean? I have too much of like an ego when it comes to that shit.
How does she write so many songs in 1 year and can whittle it down to that many? That does.
Well,
I'm sure that she has a team that. Like,
yeah, I think there's multiple explanations. One, she has a team. Like if you look at the thing about Carly Rae, that will, like, as much as I love her, I will never say that like she's a better artist than someone like Billie Eilish. Is that if you look at all of like the songwriting credits, it's always like a gang of motherfuckers. You know what I mean? It's never two people making everything happen. It's like 8 writers and they're all like fucking like gold plaque, platinum plaque having people. You know what I mean? That's not necessarily a bad thing either. You know what I mean? It's just the reality. And then also, she's also the kind of person that doesn't like rush albums. Like it took her like 3 years to write this. And then, so like when the actual Emotion, like the full album came out, that was 2015. And she didn't drop Dedicated until 2019. So even though there was like Emotion Side B that came out in 2016, those were all like songs that didn't make the actual album. So she really buys herself time.
Yeah.
And she takes her time, and that's why she's able to make 200 songs and then cut them down. So, thinking there.
Man. Yeah, and like, even if she has a team, like, from what I'm hearing, it seems like she does write.
Oh, yeah, she still was part of the process.
Yeah, it seems like she really is the writer.
Right.
For herself. It's just like, when it comes down to, like, cutting it, I'm sure she'll ask somebody about that.
Yeah.
What should I cut, you know?
I'm sure she's one of those people who's like an ideas person, and then after that she needs help to actually like get everything put together. Like me, you know what I mean? Like I'm somebody like, oh, let's throw everything against the wall, and then I just need like actual smart people like you, Kyle, to like help me like actually like make sense of what we're talking about.
Hey man, you're smart.
Right.
You're smart. You're like, I've learned a lot
always
from
nice.
you, so yeah.
I feel what he's saying though. Like it's always nice to have that second opinion. Have that second. Everybody has different tastes. So if like 1 to 2 other people are listening to it and they feel the same way, then it's like you might have something there, you know.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think that's what every artist have to do though. They have to get opinions from other people, you know, but like that you trust and who also knows how to listen.
Yeah, for sure.
Know? Because without that, I'm sure like a lot of artists, like I feel like Eminem with some of his albums, I feel like the thing is he probably didn't listen to anybody.
Yeah, that's why his shit is booty butt cheeks.
Who?
Eminem.
Oh, yeah. That new shit.
Wait,
though.
who?
Eminem.
Who?
Fuck Eminem. Right, I'm sorry. But yeah, that's my number 10.
All right, sweet. So for my number 10, it's actually an artist I just discovered recently. It's mostly to cram for this podcast. But like, I mean, because like most of the music I was listening to were the things I already was listening to last year.
Yeah.
Coming into this year, you know, like nothing was really pulling me to look for new artists for a while. And what I find new artists, or like when I do listen to new stuff, it doesn't necessarily have to be from 2020, because most of the times I find new artists through my Discover Weekly on what the fuck? You're taking off your pants in the background?
Yeah, what the fuck are you doing?
What are you talking about? No one can see this in the recording.
No one can, but I have to
But Kyle has to call you out.
I realize I don't need to be wearing jeans for this.
Hey, you know why they call him Dark Ruffalo? Because he's the darkest one in this timeline.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
As a community reference, I was hoping Kevin would say something.
All right, it's too busy taking up his answer.
I laughed, but I'm on mute, so I don't show up in the recording. You fuckheads.
Anyways, so like, yeah, I would put on Discover Weekly, and that's how I would find new artists. A lot of them are not from 2020, but then this one popped up, and it's 070 Shake and the album is called Modus Vivendi. So,
bro, that album is my number 12 right now. I fucking love 070 Shake.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. It's pretty
Guilty
sick.
Conscience is such a fucking great song. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna put it on different pants.
No, like I feel like, and the thing is, she kind of has like an experimental kind of like new wavy sound, right? It kind of reminds me almost of like what's her name? We used to listen to her. She did Lindbergh and something. Do you remember that?
Casey Daniil, White Hinterland.
White Hinterland. She kind of reminds me of her, but like just more modern, like with the times. So far, I like Microdosing, Rocket Ship, and her take on divorce is really interesting because it's talking about how like the only time I see you is in the morning or something like that. And I don't know, I guess like it's my number 10. I feel like it's gonna go up in my rank, but I just haven't really had that much time with it. You know, like there's a few songs that I think were such highs for me, like Microdosing. But
that's a good song. That's a good song, man.
It is. And like, yeah, I mean, I don't have too much to say because I'm just diving into 070 Shake. But yeah, that's my number 10.
Let me add a little bit of color here. I'm I'm fucking so mad. I thought you were gonna do a number 10 that I had no idea who it was. I was like, oh, I should just check the answer right now. But here's the thing, right? The very first album I listened to this year that was new was this album, right?
Okay.
070 it's actually 070 Shake.
Okay.
070 Shake. She's from New Jersey, and she I think for a while she was gonna sign to Good Music, to Kanye's label. She was on Ye. Like she was on Ye a lot. You remember that album, Ye?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was on that a lot. Actually, she helped a lot in those Montana. But yeah, she used to be more like weekendish R&B, like where it's like alternative.
Yeah.
R&B. But now it's kind of evolving more. I think she's taking more of like a Charlie XCX, Lana Del Rey.
Yeah.
But if they listen to hella hip hop kind of flair. Yeah, the album's really strong. I mean, I think there's some songs that are just like it's like almost too experimental that I'm just like that kind of like didn't necessarily hit for me. But the songs that hit, like Guilty Conscience, Microdosing, the fucking percussion on Microdosing is so sick. But yeah, she's from Jersey. She's really dope. And yeah, some of the songs are really great. Like every time I listen to like Guilty Conscience, it sounds like a mix of a Carly Rae Jepsen song and fucking one of Taylor Swift's only good songs, fucking Blank Space. It sounds like that. But if a black girl were to sing it, I know 070 Shake is like Italian or some shit like that, but she's from Jersey, whatever, close enough.
I guess that's the thing with this album. When I first listened to it, like I couldn't place where it sits in like the genres, you know, because like I'm sensing a lot of new wave sounds, especially when it comes to like there's keys and stuff like that. But there are times when it seems like like her delivery, especially for Microdosing, has some more like hip hop cadence, you know?
Yeah. So, look, let me show you my list. Do you see? You can't see. Do you see 070 Shake is number 11? It literally just missed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely dive into this then, especially not like I had no idea who she was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad I like the album cover, like you know, like kind of made me interested in it because it looks,
It looks like anime-ish.
It reminds me of like Daft Punk almost, their movie.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
or kind of like heavy metal. Yeah. But yeah, that's my number 10.
Do you know her at all, James? You just
No. Actually, she kind of sounds familiar, but like there could be, I think I'm mistaking her for a different girl from Bottle Rock a couple years ago.
Gotcha.
I think her name was Sade.
Oh, what? Wait,
Something like that.
Wait, Sade is a fucking R&B legend. The girl that did Smooth Operator and Sweet Ass Taboo. Like,
yeah, that's not it. That's not.
We might have to cut this out of this fucking episode. No, we're keeping it. Awesome.
No, it's not it. Yeah.
Okay. What did you say? You cut out.
What's your number 9?
Oh, we're going. Oh, that's right. Zadie doesn't have a list. He's here for color commentary. That's right.
He's here for
comic
support.
relief.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So he's here for comic.
Got a bag of shit.
Okay. So my number 9. Fuck, I'm so unprepared because I changed pants on. That was something that I was not expecting to do. Oh, okay. My number 9. My number 9 could have been a lot higher, or I wanted it to be a lot higher. This was something that I was really like anticipating. To be honest with you, I doubt that it will be on my top 20 by the end of the year. But I just really love this band, and they have a way of like making songs sound familiar yet new. You know what I mean? Like every time I hear this band song, it sounds like, oh, I love the song, but also it's like, oh, I'm really happy that I discovered the song. And it's Truth or Consequences by Yumi Zuma. I feel like Yumi Zuma has been like chasing quality since their very first EP, the self-titled EP, what came out maybe, what was that, 2014, right, Kyle? 2015, something like that?
Yeah.
You remember the songs Let Me Down and all that? And
Let Me Down.
Oh, man, early Wave Gang shit.
Yeah.
Right? And then fucking The Bray and all that stuff. Those were like, I think they're still chasing that quality. And while there are a few songs in here that are so good, like Right Track Wrong Man, which was like the lead single, really good. And it really gave me hope that this album was going to be fucking amazing. Southwark is such a strong song too. It's just with their sound, it gets so easy for everything to sound the same all the time. And but the thing that's crazy though is when they try to do something that's like a little outside of their sound, it's like I'm a little put off by it. But you can't like deny the fact that they write really strong choruses, so it helps you get through it. But the album's a little long. I mean, like I know it's only 10 songs, but it's like 33 minutes, so each song kind of overstays its welcome. So I think this is on here at 9 because I'm able to listen to this album all the way through multiple times. But again, like if this was a stronger year, and I just say generally 2020 has actually been like a down year for music in my opinion. If it was a stronger year, this probably wouldn't make it on this list. And the more I think about it, the more I wish I would have just kept 070 Shake at 9, but I don't know. Like we'll see if this grows on me more. I doubt it. Not a lot of replay value in terms of like all the album cuts. But again, like the thing though is like sometimes when I'm like folding my laundry or like I'm trying to do busy work and stuff like that, it's just nice to throw this on because it doesn't get in the way and it just leaves you feeling that nice little nostalgic feeling that you always have when you listen to Yumi Zuma. That's my opinion on my number 9 there.
Okay, cool.
Anything from you, Xani Devito?
I know not of Yumi Zuma. I do not know that person.
Thanks, Eddie.
Or
Back
band.
to you. Back to you, Ruffalo.
My number 9 is Unlocked by Denzel Curry and Kenny Beats.
Oh,
listen to that?
I've listened to some songs. I've watched hella like YouTube videos of just Denzel Curry and Kenny just like bullying Kenny Beats, but like
I feel like everybody bullies Kenny though, like
yeah, he's white.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it feels like to be in this game.
Oh, Kenny.
But anyways, I like this project. It's not. I've never really listened to Denzel Curry like that.
Whoa, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
Please
I
go
know. I know that cover he did with
for
like.
Rage Against the Machine. All you need to do is I'll send you some songs. I'll send you some songs.
Okay.
He does.
Yeah,
He
dude,
does.
Denzel Curry's dope.
He does Ultimate with Bad Bad Not Good, and I know you love Bad Bad Not Good.
Oh, I think I have. Yeah,
I am the one, the
do.
chosen. What? No, I gotta send that to you.
Yeah. I would say that this is a good album. Um, from the very beginning, it had a strong start, and I like Denzel Curry. I could tell like he brings kind of like an old school flow. It seems like
1000%.
yeah, which I like. I really appreciate. And he's perfect on these beats that Kenny made for him.
Mm-hmm.
I like the start where it starts off. It's very old school. When you just have like a narrator, it sounds like they got it from like a movie talking about the leader of the blah blah blah. Setting up the theme as the intro, and you could tell that he meant for this to be like, you listen to this from beginning to end. What I like about it is only like 17 minutes, and that's perfect for it. Because if it went any longer, it would have gotten pretty samey. Because like the one downfall to this, I feel like, is that his flow. I feel like he tries to change it up, but it's not that noticeable. Over time, like I was looking because like I would put it on and I'd do something. That's usually how I listen to it, so I could like digest it more. And it's only from time to time that I would look to see what the names of the songs are because I want to listen to it blind first.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I look, I was like, oh, okay, it's made it like through, but it also felt like just like a couple of songs felt like they were just way too tied together. That just felt like a long song.
Yeah.
So like I'll definitely dive into this more. I've listened to it a couple times now. I think the more that I listen to it, the more I find things I like about it. Mostly because his bars are pretty strong. Like he had this line about like they're trying to take it like away or something, like something Rosa Parks, and it's just like he's kind of commenting on what's happening now. So I feel like there's more to digest lyrically, but I just feel like at the same time the old school flow is kind of drawing him back because I know like he did that Killing the Name of cover. That's one of the first things I know about him, because he showed that to me. So immediately I was like, oh, this guy's a versatile artist. I just feel like I didn't see that much in this. That's why it's not like that high on my list.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that's one thing too that always kind of like stopped me from like fully being a Denzel Curry fan is that like as much as I like Taboo and things like that, after a while they do kind of sound like the same song. And while the songs that I really like, and he's amazing live as well. It's still one of those things where it's like I just don't think he's like dynamic enough as it's hard for me to say dynamic enough because he's definitely like one of the more like loud, and I'm not saying volume, like loud in terms of personalities on a song. And he's definitely like he takes command of your attention when a song's being played, but it's just after a while everything kind of sounds the same,
Yeah, that's why I'm saying like if he didn't choose to make this project so short, I feel like I would have not liked it. But the fact that like every time I've listened to it, there's always something interesting, and they get to that point when finally it's like, oh yeah, you know what? There's only so much I could listen to now. But then when I look back at it, oh, it's only like a couple more songs, So in a way, like it held my attention long enough, so I did enjoy it. Like it kind of filled my time for the moment, and like it made me think and stuff like that. But yeah, like I guess since he did it like that, either this is an EP or he just knows that about himself as an artist.
Word. I feel that.
Yeah, that's my number 9.
Nice. Any thoughts on Denzel Curry? Zany? I know you fuck with Denzel.
Yeah, I just remember when we saw him at Outside Lands last time. He puts on such a great show. He's a fantastic performer. Definitely has a whole crowd enamored at what's going on. And he can honestly play whatever and the whole crowd will go fucking nuts. So he's got everybody else's vote, that's for sure.
Remember when he did the Tentacion tribute last year and everyone was fucking crazy? That was like
he had to like start it over too, and it was fine. Everyone was cool with it. Just go with it.
Word. Dope. All right. What are we on? Sorry. Why am I?
We're number 7.
Number 8.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're definitely on number 8.
Okay. Yeah.
Number 8. So this was the one that I was referring to earlier, where the environment, but also kind of like my preconceived notions of his sound and what I wanted from him really affected how I initially felt about this album. One, I think I was expecting this album to be my favorite thing in the world because of the quarantine, right? Because the sound that I loved from this person is very like, you know, while it is like there's some slaps, it's really more like dark, eerie, pensive, but all of those things, but braggadocious at the same time. But then after that, the album that this person previously put out was like such a departure from that.
I feel like I know who you're gonna say, but keep going.
No, this is gonna be fun. Tell me, who do you think it is?
Is it CG?
No.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Definitely not. So I'll just say it. It's After Hours by The Weeknd.
Okay.
So, you know, you guys know how much I love Beauty Behind the Madness. Like that album to me was like the evolution of what alternative R&B was going to be. You know, like all this trap soul type stuff where it's like a mixture of, you know, classic R&B, trap, hip hop influences with this like atmospheric, futuristic, almost like post-apocalyptic feel to it. While at the same time talking mad shit. I always used to describe The Weeknd as like the way he, like his voice and his lyricism is like if Michael Jackson was just letting his nuts hang. You know what I mean? Like he sounds like for real though. Like he sounds like Michael Jackson, but he says, "I'm that nigga with the hair singing about popping pills, fucking bitches, living life so true."
Who actually like holds on to his like culture.
Yeah, Michael Jackson's always holding on to the nuts. You know what I mean? Like, I like boys. And fucking The Weeknd is like, I got hoes and I'm snorting coke at all times. You know what I mean? So he's like, if Michael Jackson wasn't so like closed in and not showing who he was, maybe he wouldn't have fucking lost his mind. And The Weeknd shows who he is. But then he put out Starboy, and at first I was excited because one, he was coming off of my favorite at the time. I ranked Beauty Behind the Madness in 2015 over Emotion by Carly Rae Jepsen. Like, that's how much I love that album. You know what I mean? So he's coming off that album. I was expecting a lot. And then they're like, oh, his first single's gonna be with Daft Punk. And you're like, oh, interesting. But then to me, like that sound, it just like everything from Starboy sounded like a timepiece. You know what I mean? Like he was like, oh, I'm gonna work with Daft Punk. I should make an 80s album. Instead of saying like I'm influenced so hard by the 80s that I'm gonna incorporate that sound to my pre-existing sound. Yeah. And so that's why I hated Starboy. So coming into this album, I was hoping that it was either he was gonna come back to his original sound, and that's perfect for being alone inside and drunk. You know, like that. It's perfect for that. Or B, he would improve on what he was trying to do with Starboy. Yeah. And so I already had this like really like strong opinion before I came into it. And I'm actually really embarrassed to say that as a like, I like to think of myself of somewhat of a music critic. Like I should be able to like objectively come into an album without having like other people's opinions or my own preconceived opinions alter that. But it just, I don't know. When I first heard it, like and I still say the first 2 songs are just like, it's not good. You know what I mean? It's like C-sides from Beauty Behind the Darkness. So it's like, fuck, if you're going to go back to the sound, like at least do it well. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then after that, you get to the 3rd song, which now I love, right? The 3rd song is called Hardest to Love, and it sounds like a postal service song, right? And at first I was like, because I was like, maybe he's gonna go back to his old sound. And in the first 2 songs, he does go back to his old sound. Now my mind is like, I want to hear fucking Talk That Shit Weekend. I'm not trying to hear like super artistic Weekend, right? So I hear this song that sounds like a postal service song, and I'm just like, fuck this. You know what I mean? I'm like, fuck this. And then I just don't listen to it anymore. I left it alone. But maybe 2 weeks ago, I was cleaning my room, and then after that, when I was done, I like turned the lights all down. All I had was like my string lights on, and I was just like randomly playing all the songs that I have like purchased, and it was on shuffle. And the crazy thing is, it goes from "The District Sleeps Alone Tonight" by Postal Service to fucking "Blinding Lights" by Weeknd, and I'm like, wait, that makes sense. That sounds so good. So then now I'm like, you know what? Let me re-listen to this album without wanting him to go back to an old sound. And also, let's forget about Starboy. Let's just listen to what I present with this album. And I'm like so ashamed to say that I didn't do that. You know what I mean? The first time. But this time around, I fucking got it. Like this is what Starboy should have been. Like The Weeknd, instead of making 80s songs just to make 80s songs, he was like, let me take my 80s influences and incorporate that to my sound. And the crazy thing too is he produced a lot of his own beats. So that's even like doper for me. And then there's some songs where he goes back to talking his shit while singing over like a Postal Service-esque song. You know what I mean? Hardest to Love, I swear to God, if that came out on Give Up, it would make sense. You know what I mean? Scared to Live is definitely more of like a ballad. I feel like somebody like Spandau Ballet, if they had the keyboard players from Flock of Seagulls and Susie and the Banshees, would make that song. And then after that, there's Blinding Lights is like the single. That song's like humongous right now. Even WrestleMania, that was like the theme for WrestleMania. And then after that, once you get to the interlude, Repeat After Me, I feel like his sound is like fully realized. And I didn't make it there previously. And once you get to Repeat After Me, and it's literally an interlude, so it's mostly instrumentation and like the same lyrics over and over, but like it's a fully realized sound of like, if this trap soul alternative R&B existed in the 80s, it would sound like this. And the crazy thing is, once that song is fully realized, that sound is fully realized, there's only 2 songs left in the album, and then it's done. And what that does is it's like makes me so excited for what's going to come next. Because like now when I look back at like what's happened since Beauty Behind the Dark Madness, he cut all his hair off. He's rocking a mustache now. Like he's slowly morphing into like this like 80s R&B singer. Like he's slowly looking like James Ingram and early Keith Sweat now. And his sound is starting to follow suit, but also incorporate some of my favorite like new wave and 80s synth pop artists. So like this again, it's definitely a flawed album. There's some tracks that could not exist. There's some tracks that I hate. I would rather like cut my dick off than listen to again. But like for the most part, it's a really strong album. It's probably The Weeknd's best project since Beauty Behind the Madness or the Darkness. And yeah, I'm just excited to see what's next. And yeah, I feel ashamed that I let my own previous opinions affect my listening experience. Yeah.
Okay.
I like The Weeknd. I think he's pretty good. I'm not a huge fan of this newer album. I for some reason remember Starboy being played a lot in the Philippines while we were there.
It was. And that song sucks. So I get it.
It didn't give me a great like, feel of what The Weeknd used to be.
Well, Starboy's not on this album, so.
Oh. Well, then forget that part of that discussion, but I do not like Starboy at all, that's for sure.
What? Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a consensus. It's not on this album, though.
Sorry.
All right, Dark Ruffalo, what you got?
So my number 8, right? Yeah, 8. So it's the album called Fuck the World by Brent Faiyaz. You guys heard of him?
Yeah, he sang the hook on She Sent Money All Around Me, like I'm the man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's that.
Oh, yeah.
Now down on an island last week. That guy?
Yeah. I like his singing. I feel like that carried most of this album for me. A lot of it feels very like somber, I guess. I feel like he's kind of like, it's that type of album, I guess, where it's like kind of R&B-ish, but it's mostly about like an internal kind of look at himself, I guess, and like the world around him, more than it's about like, you know, about like romance or anything. And most of the songs here are mostly just like, from what I can tell, just piano and him singing, you know, just like keyboards and stuff like that, which is cool. But the reason why it's number 8, why it's not as high as it could be, is there's some where I feel like I wish there were more layers into the song, because he has other songs. I think it's Been Away, where you could hear the drums, you know, there's kind of like a more electronic modern beat alongside with the keyboard, the lushness of it. While some, I wish there was that kind of beat to the songs, and they don't, you know, it's just, you're waiting for the beat to kick in. But it feels like a lot of it is a lot of building up, and it keeps building up, and it keeps you kind of hooked, but at the same time, there's not enough payoffs, you know?
Yeah.
And like, even though all of his songs are good, I feel like when you're listening to it, you're paying attention to what he's saying and you're getting the vibe. But he doesn't have, it's funny that you're talking about the hook that he's saying, you know, that's kind of like catchy. And this one, that he doesn't have too many catchy hooks. I feel like he is just kind of like telling a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really dope. Like, he's a really good singer. I've never like heard, I don't think I've ever heard any of his solo songs at all. So I'll check this out. But yeah, I don't know.
To me, I don't know too much about him, but it feels like as if it's an artist who's been kind of out for a while, that's dabbling with things, like maybe being featured in things, and he's just starting to like discover himself as an artist. So it feels like a very early point in his career right now. So like, I feel like it catches my ear. I feel like he is gonna get better from here. It's just not it yet, you know. So
I feel that.
Yeah, definitely. I'll have to check him out too. I
him
haven't
out.
really heard his stuff.
Yeah,
dope.
that's number 8.
Awesome. I'm gonna try to speed this up a little bit because I feel like I spent hella time on 10 through 8. But number 7 for me is Party Mobile by Party Next Door. This was something I was really anticipating because I love Party Next Door, but I feel like I haven't gotten like a really good project from him in a long time.
Yeah.
Just like there's a few songs here and there. I think he also was like a victim of like, all of my good songs go to Drake. You know what I mean? All of my good songs go to Rihanna. You know what I mean? And I'm left with sides. And then every time he's featured on something, you're like, oh my God, he is the fucking dopest. You know what I mean? Like, he has such a unique fucking sound, because not only is he like one of like the leaders of like alternative R&B in that sound, but he also writes for a lot of our biggest pop stars that we know, and he's really influenced by his Caribbean background. You know what I mean? He's from Toronto, but he's very Caribbean in his ethnic background, you know? So like the whole wave of Drake doing like dance hall type shits, like Party has either produced or wrote on most of those songs. So really that's Party's sound. Work by Rihanna was written by Party. You know what I mean? Things like that. So I was waiting for like a really good Party album, and I think this one's it. Like the only thing for me though is it's a little long. It's 15 songs for 15 minutes. It definitely outstays its welcome. But the songs that are really, really strong are amazing. Like Turn Up is amazing. The News, that's a classic Party Next Door. Some toxic shit he be talking about on that shit. He has a song called Loyal with Drake on it. That one's really strong. He has a song with Rihanna called Believe It. It's an older song, but it's still really good, and Rihanna like really shines in it. PGT, that song is fucking sick. And then Savage Anthem is like such a perfect song for a toxic dude. And aren't we all? You know what I mean? We just treat people terribly because we only care about ourselves. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, you know, it's a really good album. I think, again, like it could have been shorter. There could have been like maybe 4 less songs on it, and it would have been a lot higher. But yeah, you know, I'm happy that at least there's a strong Party album that I could go back to. This will probably again be lower in my top 20 by the end of the year, if anything at all. And this is one of the albums that really benefited from me being inside, because again, alternative R&B is really good for either once you're done going out in your home and you're fucking in your feelings about something that happened out there, or you're winding down with a shotty, or you're just at home drunk by yourself. You know what I mean? Like it's like good for that. So, you know, it definitely benefited from that environment. But yeah, that's my number 7, Party Mobile.
Okay, nice. You listen to Party Next Door, Xani?
I haven't listened to him since I graduated high school, I think.
Was he out? I don't think he was out during that time.
Maybe community college time. It's been a long time. Like, I haven't listened to him. I didn't even know he was still around. For you to just throw him out as your number 7, that's pretty crazy to me. I didn't even know he's still making music.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you know, he's definitely not visible in the ICP circles that you're getting.
Yeah, because I listen to Insane Clown Posse. Like,
yeah, you don't know Party Next Door is still relevant. Where are you getting your music from? Party Next Door is touched everything.
Spotify.
He's on every. Okay, we'll move on. Thanks for the comic relief.
So for my number 7, it's Mac Miller, Circles. Yeah, have you listened to that album?
I have, yeah.
So I like this album, and most from what I've heard from Mac Miller are songs that people have showed me, and it's always amazing, you know, because I think he has his own style. That really shows here, where like his delivery doesn't feel like rapping to me, you know, even when he's rapping, because like he has a great voice for singing that just sounds natural. He's not like forcing it out. He just has like that kind of raspy, smooth, airy voice.
Yeah.
And yeah, when he's rapping, he's just smooth. There's a flow to it that feels like it's almost singing. You know, it's very like melodic. Yeah, and I guess that's the thing. It's like there's a lot of melodies in his songs, you know. Yeah. And if anything, too, I kind of feel like what's crazy is I feel like Brent Faiyaz, the one before my list, and this album kind of have a lot of similarities, I feel like, in kind of the vibe or like the mood they're going for, and even like the instrumentations. I just feel like what Mac Miller had over that one is just a more full sounding beat, you know, because the other one just felt more like it's missing elements of a song that could have been there, while Mac Miller, I feel like his instrumentals, the music behind his singing and rapping, it's kind of like a band almost. Yeah, you know. And I just really like the album. And like another element of it too is his passing away. I feel like does affect that, you know. That I don't know if like how much of that affects my review or how I experienced the album, but I definitely felt it, you know, where like, because I was listening to him while I was at work. I was outside just doing shit and cleaning stuff. And yeah, like I just started thinking about like life, you know, and how it's just like circles, you know. And the thing is like I think I've heard about this before. It's just kind of things he hasn't really released yet. I don't know if this was gonna be like his actual envisioned album. My only gripe with it is like I feel like he didn't really get to finish it still, and it was released, you know, that it still kind of feels like B-sides. I actually really, really, really agree with that last point. Because so he started working on this definitely before he passed, because it was supposed to be a follow-up to Swimming, right? Because he did Swimming the year past, and then after that the producer he was working with on this album was like, I need to finish this because this was always supposed to be a 2-part album, you know what I mean? So that's why he was like, I'm not a big fan of posthumous stuff, especially because it's like we didn't like Mac's not a part of like finishing it, but his original vision was that we were going to do 2 albums and it was going to be a 2-part story. So I need to finish it. So I agree. I think you know, the main thing that made me like not necessarily want to rank it highly was because of that, because it's just like, dude, like as much as I love, there's some people where posthumously they put music out and it's like so like what's the word for it, like impactful. It really like it's really moving. It's really, maybe it's because I'm an artist myself, but it's like
I can't trust anyone else but me to put out my message when I'm not around to like actually say it. I mean, like it could have been
word
by something else, but that's not the main reason why I didn't like it. I also think that it just wasn't done. Like I don't think it was close enough to being finished to justify putting it out.
Yeah.
And like there were some songs that like I think Bad News or Good News is a fucking amazing song.
Yeah.
And the music video like made me cry. I mean, but it should have just been that song. That should have been the only song that came out. I think that was the only song on this album that was like fully realized.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
Oh yeah, like like I think in comparison to like his old stuff, I think like he was definitely trending towards being more musical. Like he's a producer himself, you know what I mean? And like I still think The Divine Feminine is his magnum opus, you know what I mean? And yeah, like I have mixed feelings about this album, but there's some songs that I really love, and I think Good News is everyone in the world should hear that at least once,
Yeah. And the thing is, it's not like it's bad, and I feel like you do I could see what I was gonna say is that I could see you judging it more because you have listened to his previous albums,
Right.
For me, coming into it, I guess what I'm hearing is that he is very talented, and that's what's like making me like this album. Like he is a craftsman.
Oh yeah.
Like he could write music, and I've always he's always stood apart too from what I'm hearing, because I feel like he kind of has the sound of he's like close to what do you call that, to Anderson .Paak almost.
Yeah, for sure.
But his sound sounds more like intimate to me for some reason. It's not until like Make It Better does Anderson .Paak really feel intimate to me. Mac Miller seems like all his songs is kind of like about his, like he's drawing you into his feelings.
Yeah, 1000%. Anderson .Paak is just like much cooler, so like he never lets you in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
While Mac only lets you in. Like he's like, I'm only like I need you to understand why I'm doing this. You know what I mean? Like
all I have is open doors and windows. Just look through.
Exactly.
I absolutely love. I'm excited. I didn't know there was a new album, so I'm definitely gonna have to give that a listen. Swimming was great. Ladders is my favorite song on that album.
Yeah. 1999. Oh my god, the song 1999 on Swimming. That shit breaks.
It's great. Divine Feminine, like you're saying, another great album. I liked Dang with Anderson .Paak mostly because of Anderson .Paak. I'm a huge Anderson .Paak fan. So.
Nice.
All right. Yeah. So what's your number 6?
My number 6, and this has been like I've been flip-flopping this with the last entry that I've put in all day, but it's Dark Lane Demo Tapes by Drake. I think he was smart when it came to like dropping this because he understood the environment, and I think these is one of another like album that dropped that benefited because of the environment. And this honestly is not the album he's gonna put out. Like there's no way this is the next Drake album. This one is let's like back in the day when Lil Wayne would like delay his album, he would drop a random mixtape. Sorry for the wait. This is Sorry for the Wait for Drake. But the thing about Lil Wayne Sorry for the Wait mixtapes is like a lot of those songs, those mixtape songs, better than most people's real catalog. Or like with Mac Miller, a lot of these, like even though again I'm like very critical of Circles, Mac Miller's B-sides better than a lot of people's main songs. You know what I mean? And I think this is the same for Drake. Like When to Say When is such a great song, and it's like he says a lot in it, like or Drake. Let's say that with a grain of salt. I think Tootsie Slide, I know we clowned that song, but that song is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
How do you make Mambo number 5 cool?
Make Mambo number 6. Tootsie Slide.
Facts. And he's shouting out the Crips too, you know what I'm saying? Crenshaw, baby. But honestly, like the biggest song, like I want to like shorten this because we've been taking hella long. But Desires with Future. The reason why I ranked Dark Lane Demo Tapes higher than Party Mobile is because the songs I love the most from Party Mobile are the toxic ass songs that fucking Party like really is just shows that he's just a scumbag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Desires with Future is the scumbag theme of the section. Dog, I'm not even going to break down anything else from this album. I just want to read a few lyrics from this song. And then you guys kind of just like bring that home and hopefully never practice this in your relationships, because I would hope that you guys are better people than this. Here's the chorus. This is what he wants everyone to sing over and over. I should have put you somewhere no one could find you. Mansion out the sticks with nothing around you. Katy, Texas, Dallas, Texas, another environment. Because you got desires. I know, you fucking bitch. So here's Future's verse, right? You got that fire and I'm not a liar. You had me down on my knees. So he's bigging her up, right? Then he goes, I tried to pay off your loans and cop you a driver. I had you staying too close to the city. You acted too vulnerable living this life. I should have moved you away to Houston, Texas before I copped you all that ice. You want to be my number one, which is implying he has like 20, by the way. You will want to be my number one, but you're not acting like my main thing. I left you play my number two, and you barely made second string, you stupid bitch. Now, there's more, right? Are you listen to Drake?
So aggressive at the end of these bars.
I'm just giving y'all the vibes, right? Listen to Drake's verse, please. Just listen to this. Self-control has never been your thing. Don't think it'll help if there's a ring with a rock with it. That's right. Where I'm from, they serve the soda clean, but you come from a city where the soda has lean. How the fuck?
Damn.
And then he goes, lean with lean in it. So he's singing this, right? And he goes, how the fuck you keep so many secrets? How you going vegan, but you still beefing with me again? How the fuck you been to so many beaches? Tickets to them places don't come cheap. Remember who took you there first. Like, bro, this is fucked up. And I love it. So
it's
that's
so
why,
salty.
Bro.
It's so salty. All the flavors they could have chose, and they chose salty.
I hate every woman in my life. I hate all of my friends. And I don't like myself. And this song is me screaming it from the rooftops. And that is why this is my number 6 release mid-year.
Wow.
Oh, okay, Kyle. I don't think that I need any commentary on that one. What's your number 6?
I mean, my only commentary, I wrote it down here. I was gonna tell you, but I'll just say it now. I just feel like that's what you should use as a clip for Instagram when we're pushing. That's like the breakdown.
Noted.
And that's my breakdown for
clickbait
number
shit
6.
right there.
I will also say that anything I say does not reflect the thoughts of anyone else on this podcast or anyone else in Wave Gang Worldwide. It's really just me. I want the smoke. Send it my way, but follow me.
Oh, man. All right, yeah, that's all I can say about that.
And that's all I can say about that.
But yeah, for my number 6, it's Moonstone EP by Ravina. Have you heard of her?
This is the one that I should have changed pants during.
All right. Dude, I gotta say, no, actually, out of all these lists, I think she's the one you're gonna fuck with the most.
What's her name?
Ravina. Raveena.
He goes, Ravina. A.
There's a silent A at the beginning.
But yeah, so I'm interested though. I'm interested.
So it's just a 4-song EP. It's
perfect.
Like a sampler to her as being an artist. And what I like about her is that her voice is kind of like R&B, right? And the drums is kind of like, I feel like a producer set it up. It's simple, but then the guitars make it feel like it's almost like Soccer Mommy or almost like an indie band. That's
Tell
just
me more.
It's just well produced. So it feels like it's an indie band with a like R&B singer, and she's not like singing like crazy. I'm a great R&B singer. It's just like her style and her delivery. So I think out of all of my lists, you're gonna fuck with her the most, dude. So you got
No, I'm actually pretty excited because I have somebody else on this list that's like of that ilk. So and that's like my wave right now. So I'm gonna After this, I'm gonna take your phone number down. I'm gonna get your information. I got.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I gotta say about that. It's just 4 songs, really. It's not like her strongest, like album or release. It just I can tell that well, actually, based on her style, she still has that very like indie sound. So I don't really know how like her career will take off. I think she's could stay as like an indie darling, But at the same time, because of like how the production sounds and like her style of singing, it could switch to almost like, like over time she could turn into kind of like Sinead Harnett.
Ooh, you really talking your boy language.
So I guess that's what I'm seeing, at least from this sampler. I mean, looking at her like profile, let's see. I'm sure she has more.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. She has a lot of singles.
Yeah.
A couple EPs, mostly singles, and one album.
Yeah.
That came out last year called Lucid.
So it's definitely like you could tell she's trying to like just build up right now, just to try to get known. So like even this,
she's pretty well known. She has 1 million listeners.
Yeah, she does, but
1 million ain't much these days.
Yeah, that's still like you could tell she's still like you can just tell by her
up
sound.
and coming.
She's not like mainstream.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely not.
That's sick. I by the way, I just love that these genres are starting to blend. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, I feel like, like for the longest time, I always felt like I had to keep these worlds separate, or that like it was like, oh, it's so cool that I like these two very different sounds. And then now people are starting to put it together, and it's just like reminding me that I should like never not be myself. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I should have been doing this. Because I should have been because I've always been influenced by these two different worlds, and it sucks that it's only now that I feel comfortable in like exploring that. Mm-hmm. And like, I don't know, I really, I've been saying this to Cammy too, with this sound, like I really feel like there's room for the holographic children to work in that lane. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hell yeah.
R&B, indie rock, folk, all of the above. Like it's really like there's a lane, and I feel like you finna fill that. Because
I know
is not only are you just as good as a producer and musician and songwriter as a lot of these cats in that lane, you rap better than a lot of them too. So it's like,
hey, thank you, man.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah, thanks, man. I would say, I guess based on especially my list now, I am seeing how like you're saying, I have a lane where like it is about what you like in the end and how you're gonna put all that together.
Yeah.
And I think as I'm getting older, like we're pretty old now, but I feel like it's a generational thing, right? Where I think there's a certain era that are older than us, who I think like over time their music taste is gonna stop growing, and they become old heads.
Yeah,
I feel like for us millennials, it's way different because we kind of grew up with all this being available now, and like all this mixing now,
Yeah, and for the most part, we're all a lot more open-minded when it comes to music, like morphing, because especially the old heads. I feel like old heads were so tied. He's off for now. I feel like the old heads were so tied to the cultural aspect of it versus the art. So they're like trying to uphold specific cultural virtues, which I'm for too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we're definitely more open to like the art form evolving.
Yeah, because I think before it's all about creating the new genre, and then people want the roots of those genre to be pure as fuck, they're purists.
Right.
But now that as we move, as the years go by, we're starting to realize that genres are just like, it's like if you have like, if you're trying to paint something, those are just different colors that you could put together to make something new.
Exactly.
And that's the only way you can make something new. If you keep doing the same thing, you're just gonna keep making the same music.
Exactly. And like in this lane, like everyone that likes this style of music, listen to Pleasure by the Holographic Children, because
thank you.
I really do think that like that's like your foray into this like hybrid sound. And like, I don't know, man, I really feel like there's definitely a lane, and I'm not trying to like coerce you into doing this sound or anything, but I do feel like out of everyone in Wave Gang, you are the most like primed to like do that. You know what I mean?
I gotta show you what I've been working on. It's just
Please.
like, yeah, maybe after this I'll play it for you.
Hell yeah.
But it's definitely, I feel like I'm seeing the mixture of that, because LO Love is definitely a very indie, like raw kind of album and psychedelic. But yeah, you'll just see more electronic music is being used these days.
I'm ready. We all ready.
But yeah, that's my number. Was that 6? Yeah.
6?